The grand wedding hall was a sea of congratulations, but to me, it felt like the calm before a storm. This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, the day I married the woman I loved, Emily. But a shadow loomed over everything, a mistake I was about to make that would shatter not just my life, but hers as well. You see, I've lived this day before. In another life I walked down this aisle, blinded by what I thought was love and duty, only to realize too late that I was a pawn in a game I didn't even know I was playing. My bride-to-be, Emily, looked radiant, but her smile, which once seemed so genuine, now held a chilling undertone. Her family, the Williams, were all there, their faces beaming with triumph. They thought they had won. They thought their scheme to merge with my family's corporation through this marriage was a success. They were about to bankrupt my family and leave us with nothing in my previous life. That's exactly what happened. The day after our wedding, the stock market crashed, but not by accident. It was a carefully orchestrated plot, and Emily and her father were the masterminds. They used me, my love, and my trust to bring my family to its knees. The betrayal left a scar so deep, I carried it to my grave. But fate, or something else, gave me a second chance. I woke up this morning, not in the desolate apartment where I spent my final years, but in my lavish bedroom, with the wedding suit hanging on the door. I was back to the day it all went wrong, and this time I wouldn't be a fool. I spent the morning gathering my thoughts, piecing together the memories of my past life, every conversation, every subtle glance, every hidden clause in the prenuptial agreement. It all came flooding back. The clues were there all along, I was just too blind to see them. As I stood at the altar waiting for Emily, I saw my father in the front row. He looked proud, but also worried. He'd had his suspicions about the Williams family, but I had brushed them aside, convinced it was just business rivalry. This time, I would listen. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a message from my assistant, confirming everything. The evidence I'd asked him to dig up this morning was solid. It detailed the Williams shell corporations, their secret debts, and their plan to use our merger to cover their impending bankruptcy, leaving my family to take the fall. The music swelled and the doors opened. There was Emily, walking towards me. She was a vision, and for a fleeting moment, my old feelings stirred. But then I saw her father, Mr. Williams, whispering something to her, a predatory glint in his eye. That was all I needed to see. The illusion shattered. This wasn't a wedding, it was an execution. When she reached the altar, I took her hands. They were cold. "Emily," I said, my voice steady, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You look beautiful, but I have a question before we proceed." A murmur went through the crowd. Emily's smile faltered. "What is it, darling? Can't it wait?" she asked, her voice a little tight. "No, it can't," I replied, my gaze locking onto hers. "I was wondering if you could tell our guests about your father's company, Williams International, specifically, about the massive debts you've hidden and the shell companies you've set up to siphon funds from our joint venture after this marriage." The silence in the hall was absolute. You could hear a pin drop. Emily's face turned white. Mr. Williams shot up from his seat, his face a mask of fury. "What is the meaning of this? This is slander, is it?" I said, pulling out my phone. "Because I have emails, bank statements, and a signed confession from your CFO, who decided he'd rather not go to prison for you." I projected the evidence onto the large screens that were meant to display our wedding photos. The room erupted in gasps. The damning data scrolled across the screens for all to see. The fraudulent accounts, the planned stock manipulation, the entire conspiracy laid bare. Emily started to tremble, her eyes darting between me, her father, and the horrified faces of our guests. How did you know?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Let's just say I've learned from my mistakes," I replied. My voice devoid of the love I once felt, replaced by the cold steel of justice. "This wedding is off." I turned to my father. The look on his face was a mixture of shock, relief, and immense pride. He nodded at me, a silent understanding passing between us. Security, who I'd alerted beforehand, moved discreetly towards the Williams family. Their game was over. I dropped Emily's hands and walked away from the altar, away from the life that had almost destroyed me. I didn't look back. As I walked out of the hall, I could hear the chaos erupting behind me, but it was just noise. For the first time in 2 lifetimes I felt free. The future was uncertain, but it was mine to write. This wasn't just about saving my family's company. It was about reclaiming my life, my dignity. The road ahead would be tough. We'd have to deal with the fallout, the legal battles, and the media storm. But we would face it together as a family, stronger and wiser than before. My second chance wasn't just about preventing a disaster. It was about building a better future on the lessons of a painful past. And as I stepped out into the sunlight, I took my first breath as a new man. Thank you for watching this story unfold. If you've ever wished for a second chance to right a wrong, you know how powerful that feeling can be. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. See you next time.